Or what's up, fam? This is gonna be our next little project. You know, I like to hop hobbies and whatnot. I don't know where y'all tuned in, but it was cars in the beginning, then guns, and then drones, and dirt bikes, motorbikes, and now we're back to cars again. So this is my brother's car,
Brandon.
And he just picked up this 2-valve Mustang. It's a 2002.
Yep.
2002 silver, pretty clean, little Mustang GT.
124,000 miles of American freedom.
Not bad. 5-speed, of course.
Stick shift.
Very nice. Very nice. So this is gonna be our next project. We were gonna tear it up a little bit before we tore it down, but unfortunately we found out the hard way that pretty common thing, and I actually have the coil pack still in my truck, but this thing left them stranded on New Year's Eve because the spark plugs like to somehow back out of the heads. They only have like 4 threads in these 2-valve heads, and it's like a factory defect. But anyways, the spark plugs will blow out, and actually this one already had a time cert on the plug, and that blew out, and it blows the coil pack up, and then you got an open hole. It sounds crazy. Yeah, like super loud. So anyways, we fixed it on the side of the road, got another coil pack, went to put a new plug in. That's when we figured out that the time cert was there, and so it led us to the point where it's not as reliable as we would like it to be, the way that it sits. So at the very least, we need to take the heads off. And it's kind of one of those things where when you start a project, it starts becoming like, all right, well, since we got the heads off, might as well get the heads ported. And if you're gonna get the heads ported, you might as well get the spark plugs fixed. If you're gonna do that, you might as well change springs and retainers. If you're gonna do that, might as well do cams. And so if we're gonna take the fucking motor out, might as well build this bitch and then put it back in and have it like ready to make like 1,000 horsepower. I figure we'll start like 550 on turbo, and
transmission up and then
right, do the supporting mods and stuff, and then start to make power when we can actually use it. Because this thing with a 5-speed with over 500 horsepower, what's this thing weigh, like 3,200 pounds?
yeah, I think
It's gonna be
right at $3,000 on the dot.
yeah, it's gonna be sick nasty with 500, much less like 800, 900 horsepower. So we'll take it in baby steps. First things first is we're gonna take this thing out and start getting some of the pieces out. We went by Harbor Freight this morning and picked up a engine stand. We were looking for the hoist, but they didn't have it at the store that we were at, so I'll pick that up later in the week. In the meantime, we got a lot of work to do to get this thing ready to go. Matter of fact, we didn't stop at AutoZone and get that fuel line thing and some drain pans so we can drain
right
stuff.
down the road.
Yeah, we'll probably make a run.
About a mile down the road.
But in either case, we got a lot of stuff to take loose. I'll time lapse that, and hopefully we can get this thing pretty much ready to come out. And then if we run into any snags or anything, we'll tune back in with the GoPro. But otherwise, we're gonna just start tearing into it. So I'll start the time lapse, and then we'll catch back up with you in a little while. So this is where we're at, a little progress. Got the coolant reservoir gone, serpentine belt's gone, the harness is all taken loose, intake's off, throttle cables are off. We do have to get that fuel line tool to be able to get this fuel line off, but everything's drained. He's about to go underneath there and mess with the best part, which is getting those 2 header bolts off. I don't even know if I can show you from up here really what I'm talking about. I don't know if you can see it, but it's back there. There's 2 bolts that go to where the headers mount up to each one of those pipes. Matter of fact, let's see what we can see underneath here. I don't know if you can see that, but there should be 2 bolts up there. He's about to try to get to, if we can get those 2 off. Matter of fact, where's the freaking O2? I see the harnesses to get rid of the cats right there. Yeah. Situation right there. Looks like one O2 sensor right there. I feel like there's usually O2 sensors up here.
No, right in the fucking mouth.
But I don't see them. We'll have to investigate that further.
Oh, goodness.
It's pretty gnarly to get up there. You're gonna need like freaking
One is not too bad.
Goku extensions and U joints to get up to the top.
Yeah.
To get that top one, you're probably gonna end up being like
Oh, is
back
this?
here with your arm.
Are these the sensors?
Is that O2 sensors?
Yeah.
Yeah. It should have. I think that side over there is gonna be up on top. The transmission is where the clip is gonna be, the connector, and then this one should be close by, like you can get to the connector.
Whoa,
To
got that
disconnect
bitch.
them. You got it. This gonna be a motherfucker to do by feel. And then that's where we make the decision as to whether or not to take the tranny with it. Because if we're going to take the tranny with it, we got to take loose the drive shaft. And then take the trans with it, take the cross member off and everything. Or just take the bolts out of the bell housing and just pull the motor, which is, I think, the way we're going to go. She good.
Oh.
She's off. That's one. And then we got another one down here. That one should be the easier one, I think.
Let's see what we're working with. She, you thought wrong.
But yeah, this is going to be the hardest part of the whole motor pull. Is really getting those exhaust bolts out and ready to go. I'm trying to think of what else underneath here. There's a couple sensors and stuff I think we got to pull besides those. Like on the transmission or whatever.
Yeah.
And then that'll be that. But really, once we get the motor separated, we can see what's left, and we'll start taking stuff loose when we get to that point. I'm gonna go look up there and see what we got left upstairs to take it loose. All right. We do have to take both of those pumps off, but that's down there by you. Got the fuel line to take off. Oh, I gotta get these heater core. The heater core hoses. This one's just a hose clamp, and then that one's a little push button. Heater core will be off. That's off, that's off, that's off, that's off. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Get that bottom hose, the bottom coolant hose. And then this thing will be pretty much ready to get yanked out. Be excited to see this thing on a stand. Look at the coolant. Let me show the people that. Look at that shit. You ever seen some coolant look like that? I don't know if it does justice on camera, but that's some ugly shit. It's a good thing we're tearing into this thing. Get her tip top. Alright, we're back. The wife is looking like it's probably going to be time to pack up here soon. So this is where we are. Everything on the top side is off. We got heater cores off, fuel lines off, the throttle cable and everything. The harness is off, ready to go. AC compressor was already gone, replaced with a little idler pulley, but that's all loose. Power steering pump is out. She's down here. Got the fan off, ready to go. Coolant reservoir, the intake, hood's off. X-pipe just came out. So really, where we're at now is we've got to get the transmission mount taken loose underneath. The 4 bolts in the back to drop the drive shaft out so that the transmission's ready to go when the mounts are out. And then just hooking up bolts to the head with some chains to a hoist. Popping the engine mount nuts off, and this thing should come out. We're going to need a little articulating thing because we're going to take the transmission with us. And we're going to have to tilt that thing back and out and get it up and out of here. But we're going to make it happen. And then the fun really begins. Tear this thing open and see what lies ahead, see what the machine shop says. But really, what killed us was spending the time. I don't even know if you'll be able to see. Let's see. Try to show how tight of working spaces this really is. So you get up in there and take the top of the X pipes out. The back wasn't too bad. That's just so that we can get the transmission mount out there. We got 4 bolts there that we'll have to take out. 2 here and 2 on the other side.
Yeah.
And then we got 4 bolts on the back of that drive shaft. And then once we drop it from the diff, we'll be able to pull it off the input or the output shaft right there. And the drive shaft will be out. Should be ready to go. So I figure within about an hour of the next time that you see this car, the engine shouldn't be there anymore. It should be somewhere over here. And then we'll be popping heads off and seeing what the inside looks like. What do you think, bro? Fight you every fucking second of the way?
Fucking right.
I mean,
Header,
jeez and Pete's.
bolts on the header. First it looked like it. One of them, the person before us tack welded it. Had to break a little tack off. Then got 3 of them that are 15s.
Mismatched
One's a
fucking
fucking
nut
17.
sizes. So that was fun. Just it takes like 5 minutes just to get the damn socket on the nut to find out that it's the wrong socket. But that's pretty much it. We'll see what this thing looks like outside the car here soon. We'll be able to clean up this engine bay real good, do a lot of tucking on a lot of this crap, get it out of the way, make room for a boosty boy somewhere up in this vicinity.
Yeah.
I'm thinking relocate the battery
Right.
and put the spoolie boy somewhere over here.
Yeah, give her a good clean, as you can see.
Yeah.
The previous owner lived in Mississippi,
Mississippi,
so
red
got that
dirt.
red dirt that is a pain in the ass. to
Not
get off.
rust, it is aluminum. It's just red dirt. Stains everything. You can see it stained all on the block and everything. So it'll look brand new when it goes back in. We'll check out some machine shops and stuff when we get this thing out. See who's gonna build it for us, and then put a Turbski on it. And just for you other guys out there, this is that part that you're gonna have to get used to. The back side of that mug. Wonder if we can put a GTT. Gran Turismo Turbo. Alright, so until next time, that's where we're going to leave off. Engine's still in. We're not defeated. We didn't have a hoist today anyways. Harbor Freight didn't have one. So we're sticking to that story. Had we had a hoist, that bitch would have been out. That's my story. I'm sticking to it.
Guaranteed.
So, but anyways, next time you see us, yes, we did take a break. Let me explain something here. We did take a break to watch the 4th quarter of the Saints-Vikings game. And I just want to say that was some bullshit. I think that the fumble should have been a fumble, even though questionable. Drew Brees shouldn't have been a fumble, but that's part of it too. Take the good with the bad. I would say there's going to be next year, but I'm kind of hoping that Brees takes it easy, takes next season off, collects his thoughts, maybe joins the coaching staff. We'll let Taysom Hill play.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah.
Like a Swiss Army knife.
Go Tigers.
Yeah.